What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here in the Russell Street Report film room. It has been a while. Big shout out to the tail of the tape here at Russell Street, brought to you by DNL Tinting. Stay tuned for a quick ad read here at the end to tell you about what DNL Tinting can bring to you. But looking really forward to getting back into this, talking about one of my favorite things, and that is zone blocking. When I coached offensive line play last, that was the scheme that we were baked in. It's one of my favorite things to discuss. And it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of dive in to outside zone blocking here, because the Ravens have been trying to unlock that as a tool in their offensive play calling. It makes a ton of sense. It's Tyler Linderbaum's greatest advantage. He absolutely dominated on those concepts when he was at Iowa. But not only that, it is one of those concepts, and I tried to explain this in a couple of tweets, and I'll spend a little bit of time explaining right now, but when you run a downhill gap offense, it naturally will condense the formation of the defense. And I say that because they want to cover those gaps so that when your down blocks are hitting and you have pullers coming, you're able to fill those gaps. And that will naturally bring linebackers a little bit closer, and it'll naturally bring safeties down and keep those safeties in a little bit more narrow. But the ultimate kind of hook to that is running the ball wide. So you can do that through a variety of things. My good friend Dan Reese made a really good point. Like, outside zone isn't the only way to get the ball outside. You guys know that. You can run strong toss. You can run power read, which we've seen them do. You can run sweeps. There's a variety of way to get the balls to the perimeter, but outside zone is one of the most effective way to do it. So when I'm speaking to outside zone, I'll put the player. This is just taken off of Inside the Pylon, one of the best tools out there. You can kind of see it here. This is from a 7-man line, so you two tight ends in, and as well as a fullback. So this is just to show you guys. You can see from the lines, every player on the offensive line is taking a scoop 45-degree step to the play side. That's important because if you're running inside zone, you'd see a more narrow step and more upfield. It's still everybody going the same way, but it's more narrow. This is more taking an outside step. And so you can see the direction of the running back is at the butt cheek of the tight end. So if you're running a play without a tight end on your side, I always call it the ghost tight end. It's basically a gap over from where your tackle is if you don't have a tight end in. If you have two tight ends in on the same side of the formation, it would be between those two tight ends. So you guys see what I mean? It's basically that third man over from the center, as you can see here. So everybody combo blocking, passing guys off. Oh, I just eliminated myself there quickly. I am back. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And this is more forward looking. I know I'm releasing this on Thursday. It's a little bit later. And so the question is, like, why does last week matter? Well, last week they really struggled to do it, but now we know Ronnie Stanley practiced in full yesterday. I don't think we've gotten the practice report today, but he should be back. Huge upside. One of the better zone blocking offensive tackles because of his athleticism, his ability to get second level, move guys off the ball. I think it's another tool that the Ravens can add to their run game to hopefully get the run game going. It's been a huge struggle if it hasn't been on option concepts. So let's do what we do best. Let's go dive right into the film and, drop a comment, like the video if you guys liked it, subscribe if you're new here. Let's just get back to talking football. I'm looking forward to it. Welcome back into the film room. It's been a while. I'm looking forward to getting back into this. We are going to be talking about outside zone reps. The Ravens ran a few of these, as you heard in the intro, really looking at focusing how the Ravens can channel these moving forward, because I think they are a key to unlocking this run game a little bit. You see the Ravens come out here under center, really important feature. We haven't seen a ton of under center. It's going to be an outside zone left. So as you saw in the play art, you're going to see these outside zone steps, train track blocking from each of the linemen, everybody moving left. And there's kind of one thing I really want to focus on. One's going to be how this play is blocked. So let's run it through, and then I'll come back and break it down. And I want you guys on the first pass through to really focus on this defender, the backside defender, backside edge player, again, in the context of Lamar being under center here. So let's roll it. There they go, and you see the cutback. And so this is something that has been a missed opportunity. I've talked about this. You guys will have seen back in the preseason. I talked about the Ravens playing under center and what that would provide the Ravens in the long term. And so again, the aim point of this play is going to be at this gap. So that's your they're using this tight end, and you're going to see this through a couple of these plays. So they're leaving a gap empty here, but it's basically going at call it the tight end's butt cheek, but he's a gap over. So this is where the aim point of the running back is. So as we roll it forward, you see all of the offensive linemen going in tandem, taking that scoop step, and they are all going on their angle this direction. So as that happens, obviously the aim point would be right around here. And that's where Gus Edwards is currently going in his path. But in any zone concept, cutback lanes are super important. And you've seen a team like Derrick Henry with the Titans. He exploits the heck out of these cutback lanes. And so, as much as obviously it's important on the front side for these blocks to be made, it's also very important on the back side. And this defender, essentially what he's being told is he has to hug the line of scrimmage here and work laterally, not necessarily up the field, but laterally to take away that cutback lane. Now, you see him immediately moving down the line. And this is really important because he's not really at all afraid. You will see him take one step upfield, but he's not really afraid of Lamar keeping this on a boot. So as I play it, you see right there, he takes that step towards Lamar. Talking about if he was taking off here, easy play. So if this was a naked boot, look at the distance here. I mean, I guess so the handoff's there. He's going to take that step. Lamar Jackson's beating this guy in a foot race. He's already hugged the line so much. But the Ravens haven't really taken advantage of these boots. And you've heard one of my good friends, Coach DC, all 22 films, he's talked about the missed opportunity that is the bootleg. And that's because these defenders backside are not playing the boot honest. So he's going to hug that line, and that's really important because I think Gus read this really well. So you see Morgan Moses here hitting this seal block, and he actually ends up missing it at the end, but he still had a bit of enough room here if he's able to beat this defender. But he is basically seeing Ben Powers get stacked up here. Powers has to really work his way onto the outside shoulder of his player. And then I also thought Falele here went a little too vertical. I think Oliver's doing okay here, and Falele should be looking more upfield. So he's going to eventually hit. There was no need to do this. I think it took him out of position, and he would kind of work upfield towards this guy. And again, he's got to think ball's coming my side, not necessarily think about the cutback. So I know the outcome of the play isn't quite relevant, but still important to look there because like you see, Falele is almost turned backwards, and it is important to combo that block, but I think he just took himself too much out of it because he's got this linebacker who is adjusting to Gus's cutback. So, Kevin Zeitler, really good job, something I really wanted to focus on. I want you to look at this. This would be his outside hand, so his right arm, and he's going to plant it on this back shoulder and basically wash him. And so that's important because right here. So he's going to hook this in after Linderbaum passes and climbs L2. And Zeitler does that because now if he cuts here, again, ball being directed here, this player's not likely to make a play on it. But he's putting this outside hand in to create that opportunity that if Gus cuts it back, he now has leverage if the defender tries to follow. So Morgan Moses ends up missing, but you can see it clear as day here. There's a lot of daylight for Gus Edwards on the cutback. So I think he made the right read, but just a good defensive play by the Broncos player. I think this really shows, and you do see Morgan Moses misses his blocked, right? So he kind of comes off the back right here. He's got to get a little bit more upfield to be able to do exactly what Zeitler did and put his outside right hand on the back shoulder here so that he can't slip him like that. Again, I know 56 is making the play, but if he's not hugging Lamar, or if he's hugging Lamar Jackson because of the threat of that bootleg, that doesn't happen. So I missed the start of this next play, but we're going to see, does it stay with, I believe this was on the RPO, so this is an RPO. There is a bubble screen happening over here. but you do see this defender is a lot more attentive to Huntley, right? He didn't sprint down the line. So that's kind of what I mean by that cutback defender being frozen. But what we're going to see here is one of the primary issues. They're running to the left side again. I believe that's McCary in now. But this is where Ronnie Stanley can really help. He's really got to work play side shoulder here, get outside and seal 56. And you're going to see, again, aiming point is this naked tight end because there was no tight end in on the play. So you're seeing Justice Hill now cut it outside, which is probably the right call because you're seeing a stack up of linebackers here. Linderbaum has the opportunity to climb here. He doesn't quite make it, but that's how Hill read it. But you can kind of see where the other defenders are, and McCary just is getting no drive on his guy. So he's just going to force him outside, and then he runs out of daylight. So that's a tough one. Was it run to the weak side? Yeah, this was run to the weak side anyway. So you're already running outside to the weak side of the field. Running outside zone to the weak side of the field. But you need to get more push from McCary. That's something Ronnie Stanley can really help with. As we move into the next one, again, you're seeing Josh Oliver taking that extra gap over. So aim point being here. Let's run it through, come back. And so this was one that I thought was pretty frustrating by Gus. So decisive running is so important on these. And you're going to see Gus hit this little stutter step right there. And I think he really wanted to go cut back here. And let's check the backside defender again. And you see him, there's a little bit more of a pause, but he's hugged this quite well. But you're seeing these right hands that I mentioned in the last play. They're not quite there for the seal block if he hits it back. And you can kind of see the space there from Zeitler. So Gus follows his block and goes back over, but I think he hesitated too much, and you're seeing Josh Oliver lose his block there. And so another important feature I found on this one, and I saw that basically you're going to see a two-tech here up on Ben Powers, and he reads this play really well. See how he stays in front of Ben Powers trying to work to that outside shoulder? That means Linderbaum's naked here. And so Linderbaum could try and climb, and that might work, but if this ball does go outside, you can kind of see from the angle here, it's going to be impossible for Linderbaum to get to this outside shoulder and do a seal block. So Linderbaum laps Powers and starts to basically pass off where the zone block's going. And so you can kind of see it here. I think the safety coming up made it difficult. Oliver not hitting a kick out here. He's really got to work that inside shoulder, push him out. But if he's able to kind of create a space here and get this guy out of it, Linderbaum lapping plus McCary continuing to go left, they may have been able to make something work there. But because we got a stack up there, Oliver not making a play, and the defender coming in, he cuts it up into that linebacker that Linderbaum purposely left. And I actually am okay with Linderbaum's assessment here, because right here you see him stop and come back. This linebacker right here. If Linderbaum, this is where the linebackers responding to Gus. Obviously Linderbaum can't see it, so Linderbaum, Gus Edwards on the same page here, pushing the ball basically outside the gap where I think they have numbers. I think you got McCary there, you got Linderbaum lapping, and hopefully Oliver kicking out. But he has to cut it back into this linebacker right there. So not ideal. It's just, this is one of those situations where everyone talks about how easy zone is, and it is easy in its concept. They're literally just moving on train tracks. So understanding where they're going, where the ball's trying to go, is very simple. But you can see one guy loses his assignment. In this case, it's Josh Oliver, and you can blow up the entire play. So that's kind of the pitfall there. Something just really important to understand. I think we get one more here. We're going to the right side, and we're going to see, you can see based on the pre-snap alignment, Zeitler is basically empty. He's going to be going right here, so he's got no one right on him. Moses has someone lined up right inside him, but it's inside of his scoop step. So what I mean is it's inside where the scoop step is going. So what I'd like to see is he uses this inside hand, gets it on this shoulder, and passes it off to Zeitler, who would come in and overtake and seal back this way. And then as he does that, he would be going for 47. And that's essentially what happens, but he's not able to get off his block quick enough. So you'll see here, there's that hand coming out perfectly. and he should see 47 right up here. You got Ricard, who should be working inside, trying to again kick out like we saw or we just talked about. Zeitler took a very deep step trying to get to this outside shoulder. Right there, you see it. But what happened was Moses wasn't able to come off his block quick enough. 47 has now filled this gap, and Moses is left with nobody to block except for the line safety. But doesn't matter because Drake's not going to get down there anyway. And that's the guy that makes the play. And this is the worst thing you want to see from an offensive lineman is doing the oh shit turnaround look. So this is where I just think the play of the play side tackles really doom them. It's something I think Ronnie Stanley can really help with, but you need more from a guy like Morgan Moses, McCary when he's in. Falele hasn't been very good at it. But yeah, let's go wrap it up. So I think you guys can see there where I'm seeing a little bit of an opportunity with the return of Ronnie Stanley. I think he is going to make a difference in their ability to run that concept. The Steelers are a tough matchup for this because they have such good edge players, but their edge players also allow their linebackers allow that formation to condense because they're so good. So it actually creates the opportunity to run it well, but you need execution from your tackles, blocking guys like Highsmith, guys like TJ Watt, one of the best edge players in the game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they adjust to this, but it's clear that running outside zone is going to be a big part of their run game, and they just need to find a way to get it done. So now we're going to go to our friends over at DL Window Tinting to let you know what services they are able to
Window
provide.
Tinting, a family-owned business for over 30 years, has everything you need to protect your most treasured assets from the sun's detrimental ultraviolet rays. Protect your car, your home, and of course your family. Every day your vehicle battles rocks, sand, dirt, scratches, road debris, and bugs, all of which can eat away at your car's paint. Your vehicle's windows and those at home, when unprotected, can bleach your seats, furniture, carpeting, and more while driving up energy costs. Let DNL help. DNL Window Tinting. They put the shade on the sun.
Huge thanks to our friends over there for sponsoring this episode on Russell Street Report, Tale of the Tape. And that's all I have for you guys. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Am I putting too much emphasis in outside zone blocking? Do you guys want to see something else? Let's go from there. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.